I should still pursue her. I think I'm just saying that the guidance was right. It was right for me to pursue her, and there was nothing wrong with me doing that. And there's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of things for me to still learn, I guess, and to kind of make sense of from this. But it's tricky. We're all different. We're all individuals. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and God has a plan, and we don't necessarily understand His plan completely for ourselves in our situations, but we definitely learn more. We definitely figure out more as we go, and we definitely get to those points where we are like, oh, well, that makes sense. I understand that now. Now I know why that happened. But sometimes it takes a long time before we get to that point. Sometimes things happen and we just have no idea why they happened, and it takes a long time for us to realize why they happened. But anyway, I do feel a lot of relief because I was putting a lot into this, and maybe that was my sign as well, right? Maybe that was my sign because I was putting much more into it than she was. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What do you do when you find someone who you really like and you seem to get along, and they seem to like you, or they seem to like you, but you're not quite sure, but you keep talking, and you see each other every day through video chat, FaceTime later or whatever, and you start to think like, this is good. I like this person. I really like this person. The thing with me is I straight up thought that this could be my eternal companion, and that is something I want, and that's the absolute right thing to want. There's no debating that. And so I was kind of in the territory.
We could debate it. We got to go to 1 Corinthians 7, 1-38. In fact, there was an apostle in the Church of Jesus Latter-day Saints about 70, 80 years ago, and he takes this big rod and he rips it into the ground and he says, "No broths!" And it's because he read 1 Corinthians 7. And I don't know if he was in the Q70 or the Q12. Do you want to ask ChatGPT right now? Because I'm probably more interested than you. Was there ever an apostle in the LDS who wasn't married? What was his reasons, maybe? Yes, there has been at least one apostle. Yep, here he was. Look at this, 1976. I'm a genius, huh? What'd I say, 70 years? 30, or I said 50 years, what was that, 50 to 70 years? A bachelor apostle, okay, maybe not. Elder Marvin J. Ashton, unmarried at the time of the call. 70. He was married, oh no, he was married. 1860. Nope, he was married. Here it is, 1 Corinthians 7, 7-8. Dedicating life to service similar to Paul. The Lord's specific will for that individual. Marriage is emphasized for church leaders, especially apostles. It's not an absolute requirement. All modern apostles have been married. Marriage is essential to exaltation, but someone's personal marital status doesn't negate their spiritual qualifications if called by revelation. Interesting. Well, anyway, Jared Ellie told me there was an apostle who was single. And he said no broads, or whatever. And then he was single.
If you really want this, and it's right, which we all know it's right, then you have to put...
But I was talking to somebody at the singles ward. I told him that I loved him because I asked him who he loved. I asked him who we were playing this or that. I said vampires or werewolves. And then, I asked him some questions. And then I said, who do you love more, your wife or your kids? And he was horrified. He said, my wife. Not even close. And I remember I had a little teddy bear and I put it down. I gave him a hug. This was over by Christmas time. And I said a lot of stuff to him. He was such a cool guy. This is during the vaccine era. 2019, 2020. And I told him that I loved him. And he said, love you too, Merry Christmas. And got his phone number, never talked to him though. But yeah, I was talking to him about 1 Corinthians 7. The Apostle Paul, he was surrounded by Proverbs 21:19, Proverbs 21:9, women. Wicked women, stupid women, dirty women, just wicked and dirty, gross. And he had a thorn in his side, but it likely wasn't anything sexual. He was just a legend, and he was a tank, And he was like, I'm doing great, but you guys should get married because it's better to marry than to burn. That's what the whatever verse that was, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever it was. And then I said, well, if the Apostle Paul had been alive today, there are women that can actually bring you closer to the Lord. So all of his little arguments is a bunch of nonsense because the Relief Society women are really good. What he was saying was, if you're single like me, you could really dedicate your time to the Lord. Women, they're very expensive and time consuming and stuff like that. But verse 2 and 3 is like, if you're burning up, then you could have sex with them. That's what verse 2 is saying. But it's good not to touch them because they're kind of just gross, Now, some people, this is a crazy, I just want to say this because it's entertaining, but I've actually studied dozens of hours of anti-Pauline content, and there's this theory that the Apostle Paul's the Antichrist, and he's wicked, and he faked his conversion, and now he's bringing people into lawlessness. He says that the law is cursed, and all of his letters, are meant to be misunderstood, and he's this forked tongue, gaslighting, duplicitous, whatever. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has him taken care of. We say, no, he doesn't actually want you to live like the devil. And the Catholic Church has him taken care of as well. The Catholic Church is like, no, we're going to synchronize him with Jesus. And I know it says not of works, but he's talking about the Mosaic Law, circumcision with a bad attitude. But it's the Protestants that hold the Sola Scriptura. So the doctrines of demons come out with Sola Scriptura. And basically they're going to use Paul to create these doctrines of demons because it's a lot harder to make them from what Jesus said. But you can make it easily with Paul said. Galatians 2:16, Romans 4:5, Galatians 5:4, Romans 11:6, Titus 3:5 even. And you can just clip them out of context. And 2 Peter 3:16 talks about watch out for Paul in the last days. Jude 1:4, 1 Timothy 4:1 talks about the watch out for the Apostle Paul. He's going to get crazy, But the Apostle Paul, he saw Jesus in the woods. And Matthew 24 says, watch out for the guy who saw Jesus in the woods. And I think it's interesting that the Christians, they can't actually use that verse on Joseph Smith because Joseph Smith technically did see Jesus in the woods too. But they say that you can't use that because Paul saw Jesus in the woods. So they said, okay, we'll just pretend that's just a wash, But the Apostle Paul was kind of sus sometimes and never actually talked to Jesus in his life. He said you could eat food sacrificed to idols. It's a very interesting rabbit hole to go down. But the other thing, the reason why I bring it up is because he wanted to slow down the reproduction of the righteous. So in 1 Corinthians 7, he makes up an excuse not to get married. And if the Apostle Paul is one of the Antichrists and he's in the Bible as a test, Jesus says, hey, watch out for the false prophets. He's coming up as you flip this page. It's pretty crazy to think about, but it's very interesting, huh? There's lots of false prophets in the world. And the Apostle Paul, if you look how he actually got into the Bible, it's just interesting, I don't think he was false, but Um, I would be surprised if he was, but I wouldn't be shocked just because of how much research I've done. Um, but yeah, he said we were saved by grace. That was his whole message. And you don't have to do anything. And Jesus never said that. Jesus said the exact opposite. And it's the easy way, and the false prophets came into the world, the easy way, the broad way, versus the narrow way. And Paul was the one who's saying, Romans 10:9, he said, confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart and you'll be saved. Jesus says, not everyone that says to me, Lord, Lord, will be saved, but those who do the will of the Father, the commandments. It's just interesting, but yeah, I would say do some research there. I talked to AI about it. I said, let's role play and you could be the Paul, and I tried to debate him and I definitely lost. The Catholics, I don't think they're. I don't know. The Pauline defense, I think, is too strong. But even if Paul's true, it doesn't mean the devil can't twist all of his words, and you still got a lot of doctrines of demons. I mean, if you remove Paul from the world, I think we would not only would we survive, we might be better off. Even if he's true, it's like, yeah, just wanted to say that. But if he is false, it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense with 1 Corinthians 7. Proverbs 18:22 says, he who finds a good wife finds a good thing and has found favor with the Lord. And people who are righteous and married, they'll tell you the wife brings us closer to God and she's great, she's amazing. And yeah. Also, if everyone followed the advice from 1 Corinthians 7, there'd be no righteous babies at all. Right? And that's what I'm saying. It's like it could cut off some of the righteous babies. And I posted on Facebook the other day, John 21:25. Jesus did a lot of amazing things that cannot be written down on these books. If every grain of sand on earth turned into a book, and the book was filled with words, it could not capture half of what Jesus has done. John 21:25. And you think, well, maybe one of those things is Jesus being married. That's what I posted on Facebook. It's pretty interesting, huh?
That's how I felt. And so that's what I was doing. But it just, sometimes
And
it
if
just
Jesus
doesn't
is
work out.
married, well,
And that's really hard. That's really hard. I'm really surprised actually with my composure here on this because, as I said, this was very deep. And luckily it didn't last too long, but man, I had some strong feelings for this girl.
wow.
And it's so tricky because it's so hard when you like someone, it's so hard to control your feelings. Like,
Yeah,
that
it
whole
is.
thing is the hard part. There's such a whole thing about that nowadays. Like, I mean, people sing about it, people make music about it. I'm bad at love, I'm bad. Like, people like talking about, like, oh, love's such a hard game to play and stuff. Is it a game? No, not to me. Is it a hard game to play? Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. So there's just a lot. There's, the whole concept of love is seen as such a treacherous thing because it's so hard sometimes. Because it's so hard when you get your heart broken. That's what it all amounts to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, one thing
But-
you could do is just not have sex, because when you have sex outside of marriage, that's when you get really attached. The two flesh become one. And I don't think we were designed. We're definitely not designed to have
And she
sex
said-
and then not be married.
Really cool things to me about
So you can really catch a lot of feelings there. But also, Justin and I were both introverts, and it makes sense that we're going to be a little bit more affected by women and love and all that stuff. So
she
if
said
you're
that she
extroverted, you can
didn't
kind of,
didn't want
I don't know, everyone's a little bit
Yeah, but
different,
all my-
but
energy and
as you can tell, like the guys, men and women are supposed to be together. So
or friendship or a relationship is more of a friendship, I guess. Technically it's a relationship, but what that means is it's very important to be clear about what that word means. And no, it was not a relationship to her, and therefore it can't be a relationship to me. But she
it definitely can be.
Another thing.
I had a girlfriend in San Diego. She was my fake internet girlfriend, and I was her friend. It's very strange, but that's what happened.
as much
I was pouring my heart out into her. Started out as a joke, and it quickly became very real. And I started getting all these skits from the supernatural realm, and I was creating these Snapchat videos. I have hundreds of them on my Snapchat still to this day because it saves them on there forever. All throughout 2020, and it was like a comedy tour, and I just loved this girl, and I had 50 dreams of her and stuff like that. Her name was Brittany, and she was a high beauty, high personality, low religion, mid godliness, high godliness. She was a virgin, same age as me. She got married though. Good for her. I remember praying for her to find a guy better than me. And Justin, if you're gonna pray for this girl, pray for her to find a guy better than you. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what you want. If you really love her, that's what you want for her to have and get. But yeah, I mean, she was just like always on my mind and stuff. And I'd make YouTube videos for her and stuff, and she would Snapchat me back too. Sometimes she'd send me little videos and stuff, but I was really doing all the work, and I was doing the jokes, she was doing the laughter. And she was very risible, very laughing, laughed a lot.
talking about
But yeah, you can definitely have imbalanced relationships. And a lot of times, they say guys and girls can't be friends because the guys always like the girl too much, no matter what. And the girls, they put up the walls in the friend zone and stuff, but
what she
the guys,
told me,
yeah.
because I hate what she told me. I hate thinking about it and everything. But it was basically like, I don't want you to miss out on the right person by talking to me. I don't want you to stay
Exactly.
talking to me if you don't find the right person. I want you to be able to put your energy and time and focus in the right place where you're going to get the most for you. And I was
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
I-
even when my girlfriend becomes my fiance,
thing.
I'll still let her shop around, see if we can find a better deal.
And I have
Try to find a better guy,
to respect where she's at. I have to respect how she feels, and not push or force or anything like that. Because I don't know. She just said she wants to figure her stuff out before she goes looking for a relationship. And to me, it gets a little interesting because looking for a relationship is a little different than dating. And looking for a relationship is like way more intense, I think. And so I don't know. I'm the part, and I'm not gonna get into this camp anymore. But the camp that I was in was like, well, I thought about it. I did not get into it at all. I just thought about it I thought about it very briefly. It was basically like, well, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Are you scared? Are you nervous? What's the deal? What's your hang up? But I don't think I can really get into that, because I kind of just need to leave her where she is and let her be how she is. It wouldn't be fair for me to push or anything like that to try to figure anything out for her or to try to help her. She's already been totally clear with me about what she wants and what she doesn't want. I guess, and so I just need to take it. I just need to take it how it is and take it for what it's worth, and let it go and focus on myself, focus on my future, and move on. And yeah, that's definitely hard. But at the same time, it seems to be what's right, and I can't really debate that. So I'm not gonna fight it, and that's hard. But I'm not gonna fight it. It's much better not to. But so yeah, anyway, keep me in your prayers, you guys. I know I have such high hope and optimism for the future, and I know that things will be fine. I know things will work out. I know that I will be fine. I already feel better than I thought I would. But it's still hard. I'm still struggling inside. So
You'll be fine.
just keep me in your prayers. I'm in good hands. I'm here at a friend's house, and really special dear friends of mine. And I know how much I'm loved, and I know how much I'm appreciated. And I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about getting that from certain people or getting that from a certain person, because I already know that I am, and I already have that. So I don't need to worry about that.
Okay, great video. Great video. Great video.